my soul is leaving the surety.
Did you ever play that 1981 puzzle video game called Qix, spelled Qix, called Get Your Kicks? You know, published by Title America, developed by Title America? If I'm the only one that's talking nonsense to you, what if I told you that every time your objective was to draw a line that closes off parts of the rectangle to fill in a set amount of the playfield, you were rewarded with a pretty lady above the age of 18, for those who are listening, Mr. Alphabet Boy Man. You thought drawing shapes was hard, and it is hard, especially when you have the IQ of a room temperature place. But no worries, this game is simplistic, a revival of those games from the 90s and 80s with a little bit of a modern twist. Everybody loves anime, right? Some people love them. Do you think hentai is art? This game harkens back to the 80s and 90s, back when the simple objective of drawing a line got really hard because you have this stupid spinner trying to get you, and it's only here because fidget spinners were a thing of the early 2010s. So which game are we talking about today? Well, this game right here is Mokoko X. What is Mokoko? I don't exactly know. And frankly, it doesn't really matter. Because what you're here for is those sweet notes. So yeah, you can play the game with or without the nude. Nude's free. It's free DLC. Feel free and grab it. No extra cost. So if you are feeling kind of lonely on a Friday night, or maybe you just don't want to really hang out with the boys, because hanging out with people nowadays kind of sucks, trust me, feel free for this. The gameplay, as you've probably already seen, is quite simple. You are a ship, and you have some objectives on the board that you are supposed to avoid. What that ship is, it's kind of hard. They're kind of sometimes abstract, sometimes you can tell what they're supposed to be. The objective of this game, depending on the difficulty you pick, is to fit up a certain percentage of the board. There are some question boxes in the game area. If you are able to block off an area with these boxes in there, you can get some power-ups. This includes time stop, maybe some extra lives so you can take a little bit of extra punishment, maybe even some armor. Now necessarily when you're playing out there and you're on the field, there is no timer. You can take your time, kind of. You have a shield while sitting on the lines, and when you're sitting on your home base line, you cannot be hurt. But you do have a shield bar. As time goes on, your shield bar will decrease, and at that point, once it's over, those enemies can hit you even when you're on your own home turf. So it is advised to keep moving. On the hard difficulty, some of these boxes will have traps in them. That can kind of be a bit of a bummer, especially when you're on your last life. Getting surprised by a trap box is not the best way to go out on some of these levels. Okay, now I hear ya. You're asking a very important question. How many girls do I get to see? Well, my friend, you get to see a grand total of 8. Each one has a gallery, and then you get a special one where articles of clothing come off at your choosing and pace. What tickles your fancy? Do you like purple-haired girls? Do you like girls of war? Do you like secret Asian girls that probably have telepathic powers from too much testing, government testing in fact? Do you like the ones that are kind of like, yeah, I guess we could do it tonight. I kind of have a headache, but if I take some Alka-Seltzer, I guess I'll be fine. You also got cutesy ones that border that line of, I'm not going to say the dirty L word because I hate it, but it rhymes with lollipop. But before we're able to see the goods, we must do chores for them. We must save them from these things. What are these things? A Beyblade? A duck? What is this stuff? A pirate ship? You have to beat 3 bosses, each one with a variety of gimmicks and patterns, and it's 4 stages. You'll fight all 3 of them at the same time on the final stage. So each girl has 4 stages that you have to complete before you get the nice nudie gallery. And you can't be pushy, you want to be nice. But sometimes they test your patience, not the girls, the bosses. Because some of these things take up so much of the screen that moving is a guaranteed death sentence, and you have to be careful in which you maneuver your way around these areas. Because if you find yourself in a pinch and you just block them in this tiny small area and you haven't eliminated any of the minions or bosses, well, good luck, man, because you're gonna need it. You ain't seeing no nip for tonight. With that being said, good luck on the hard mode. That is hard. It is quite difficult. You gotta have the patience of a saint. You gotta be able to maneuver your ship and block these things off. and you're gonna make sure that sometimes you can put them in a position where they can't move anymore, but that very rarely ever happens. They have a lot of gimmicks that can hit you from distance, and one thing that I forgot to note is that if these things hit that red line that you leave behind, you are subject to die. A energy source, or whatever you may call it, their bad vibes, will travel to your ship and destroy you, and if you aren't able to get to the white line before that bad vibe hits you, good luck, homie. You're done. You're gonna have to go back to the beginning. Mind you, in hard mode, you have less lives, you have traps, and you also have to cover more of the area before you complete and get the goodies. Going back to some of the bosses here. Some of these things are incredibly difficult. Sometimes they're extremely easy. It varies. It's hard to get a consistency with these guys. I feel like the first section, of course, it's going to be a little bit easy. It's a welcoming package. They're like, hey man, you want to see some nip nap? And you go, of course, who doesn't? But then it gets really hard out of nowhere. Sometimes you're in these arenas where you're like, what is going on? I am pinned down. I need hot evac out of the zone immediately. One stage in particular has these guys. It's a war themed, and these guys are shooting out bullets at you. Mind you, these also affect the red line that you leave behind. But the background is red and the bullets are orange. These bullets blend in so well, and they're small. There's no outline. They don't glow. I don't know why this is a thing. I've run so many times into these bullets while I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make it. Nope. Denied. Just take a look at some of these encounters that I faced. I did not make it out alive for most of these, mind you.
You didn't deserve it.
Just leave! I have no quarrel with you! You defeated my men, but your luck ends here. Yoko, now I know a lot more about playing. Just leave. I have no quarrel with you. Just leave. Just leave.
I don't need. Maybe you understand me a bit now. Whoa! I was hitting you 5 times, but you only lost 1 HP.
Look at these idiots. They don't know the meaning.
Do you think it is painful? Let me. Do you think it is painful? Let
I just watched. Well,
Wow, Mr. Megayoyo, I am so intrigued. I love anime girls, you say. Hoy, who doesn't, right? I love buttermilk ranch and anime titties too. But here's where the tough titty hits. You can only get this kind of stuff on Steam. The DLC is free. But this game is also on Nintendo Switch. Obviously, Nintendo's not gonna let that fly. Not in a million years, unless they're like about to go down under and they need some quick cash and some quick buys. Never gonna happen. It's Nintendo. So while you can get this game on Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and Steam, you can only really get the nudie stuff on Steam. With that being said, it's going out on Switch and Steam on April 7th. It's coming for Xbox on the 22nd of April. So by the time this video is up, you'll be able to go get yourself a copy. If you really want the stuff, it's go on Steam. But I'm telling you right now, man, you can get much better stuff off of xvideos.com. Mokoko X is being priced at $11.49. If you really care about gold points on your Nintendo Switch account, that amounts to 58 gold points. The game itself is actually pretty solid. The control is very simple. You need to line yourself up along the white line, and you press A to let yourself go, and then from there you need to make a line that connects all the way back to the white line. Doing so successfully will unlock a portrait of the lady, and from there on out you have to get to your certain percentage. Now remember that the percentage changes depending on which difficulty you're going to be playing. 72.5% for normal, which is what I played mostly, but you're going to need 75% on hard, and trust me, that 2.5% makes a difference in the later levels. One power up that's going to come in clutch for you is going to be the time stop, especially if all the enemies are located in a corner in which you can easily cover most of the area with. Sometimes if you're unlucky, the enemies will be right in front of you even with the time stop, and that power up is going to be a waste and you're just going to be stuck there while your shield depletes. As stated before, each girl has her unique environment and attackers, and they also have a certain theme. Some of them are insects, other of them are weird objects, and one of them keeps getting assaulted by weird dudes and guns. Some of these stages have gimmicks, like this one right here, where every few seconds it looks like your dad is calling up somebody from Vietnam, and it keeps lighting up the phone line.
Lag! Lol! I was hitting you 5 times, but you only lost 1 HP!
Mokoko X is a fun game, but it is not without its shortcomings. While fun, it does not last that long. On my initial playthrough, I was able to get 2.9 hours of gameplay. Now that might be some good buckage out of you. It's okay. It's 3 hours if you round it up almost. I had a good time. I didn't have anything to complain about for the most part. The music is not really that good. For the most part, it's forgettable. I really do like the latter stage music, but if you're playing on arcade mode, and you have to be playing really well to even hear some of those beats. The difficulty can seem a little skewed sometimes. Some levels are extremely easy while others are unforgivable. There's no 2-player mode. You can't play this with a buddy. I'm unsure if Qix back in 1981 had a 2-player. I'm pretty sure most arcade games were not 2-player back in the day. I can understand why this isn't 2-player. It's going to be hard to skill with 2 players, and if you are not very good at communicating, you might paint yourself in a corner. Still, it might be fun to see how chaotic some of this stuff can get with 2 players. Maybe there'll be a mod later, unsure. And the modes aren't that great. You only have story mode and arcade mode. There's no like any trials with this kind of stuff. You can't really do anything else besides just unlocking some nice anime titties, which for the most part isn't anything to complain about. But if you're looking for variety, you're not going to find it here. You're going to find good old classic 90s and 80s arcade difficulty with arcade modes. If that doesn't seem to bother you, then by all means pick up Mokoko X. It's a fun game. There's nothing really wrong with it. It just hurts in the variety factor and length factor, but the replayability is there. You can always go back and view galleries. The art is fine. It looks a little weird. It wobbles weird. You know how some people like Dead or Alive 6 because every time a woman takes a step, the boob goes in like 6 different directions? Sometimes it feels like that. The art style is great. It looks fine. It's just the way it moves. That pretty much wraps it up for this video. Now I've left the link for the game below. Now you can get it towards Steam, Nintendo Switch, and that has already been released, April 7th, right? Now if you're an Xbox owner, you will be able to access this game on April 22nd. If you're a Sony owner, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, you're out of luck, homie, but hey, you probably have a PC, so if you want to get it on Steam with full unadulterated fun and a little bit of nip-nap, you're in. So quick spreadsheet about the game. 1 player, arcade gameplay and difficulty, good visual design, chaotic gameplay, and then a few cons, little replayability, not much variety, and the music is a little bit mediocre. For some reason I get some Doki Doki Literature Club vibes off of this. I don't know if it's because anime games have ruined me when it comes to this kind of art style. I don't know what's wrong with me nowadays. Now I know you guys are probably thinking, this is weird. This is not what you usually post. Hey, totally fine. Variety is key, right? I like digging my toe in some bait, some other ponds, seeing if the fish bite and take a nibble. That's totally fine. I actually enjoyed playing this game, and I think you should give it a shot as well. Like I said, I pretty much laid it all bare for you. I want to thank Catapult for sponsoring this video. I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. Thank you for the developers of giving me a early access and review key to the game. Naisu, both publisher and developers for this game. If you're watching this before April 13th, it's up on Steam right now for $8.99. They're having a 10% off promotion, and it's also a little bit cheaper on Steam. It's $10 versus the Switch's $11.49, I believe. So I'm pretty sure Xbox will still be the same. Guys, if you could support me by leaving a like, if you found any bit of humor in here, if you like the variety, please leave a like. Comment who's your favorite waifu in Mokoko X if you play the game, or if you saw what you like here, tell me which one do you like. Thanks again guys for stopping by. I'll see you in the next videos. I have plenty of indie videos coming up, so if you want to see what's coming up and what you want to add to your gaming library, stick around, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace, homies.